I swear to God, you could hear that snap all the way across the park. A scream tore through the warm spring air, sharp and ragged like glass shattering. People froze, the tulips swayed in the breeze, and the horse, calm, massive, almost regal, just stood there with Karen's severed finger clenched between its teeth. Did that really just happen? A teenager near the fountain gasped. It did. And honestly, none of us were surprised, because anyone watching Karen that morning knew she had been practically begging for trouble. See, this wasn't just any Sunday in the flower park. This was the HOA's annual Heritage Garden Tour, the kind of event where everyone pretends to love nature, but really it's just an excuse to compare whose roses are taller, whose grass is greener, and whose dog doesn't bark at night. I had volunteered to help at the stable section, guiding families near the petting zoo horses the city had brought in. Easy gig, relaxing even. At least it should have been. But then there was Karen. Our Karen. The neighborhood menace. The kind of woman who treated HOA rules like they were written on stone tablets from the heavens. She wasn't just a Karen, she was the Karen. And that day, she decided she didn't like the horse. It started the way it always does, with that scrunched up nose of hers. She stood in front of Jasper, a brown and white gelding, muttering loud enough for everyone to hear. Disgusting smell. This is a flower park, not some barnyard sideshow. I tried to stay polite. Ma'am, the horse is part of the heritage display. The kids love it. She whipped around on me, eyes blazing. Don't you ma'am me. I've been HOA president for 7 years. I know a code violation when I see one. That animal, she jabbed a manicured finger toward Jasper, is a liability. The crowd chuckled. I sighed too loudly. Her cheeks turned red like I set a match to her pride. And that's when she did it. Karen locked eyes with Jasper. Now, anyone who knows horses knows you don't stare one down like you're at a poker table. But Karen leaned forward, glaring into those calm, steady eyes, like she was about to bend them to her will. A little kid beside me whispered, tugging on his dad's sleeve, he's trying to, mind control it. Jasper flicked his ears, turned his head away, patient as only an animal can be when a human acts stupid. But Karen, oh Karen, she kicked him. I shouted, hey, and lunged forward, but it was too late. The crowd gasped. Someone dropped their iced coffee. Jasper jerked his head, teeth flashing. Crunch! The sound will haunt me forever. Karen screamed, stumbling back, clutching her mangled hand. Blood spattered the tulips, bright red against soft pink petals. Her finger, actual finger, was gone. And Jasper stood there calmly chewing. Phones were out instantly. Kids cried. Parents swore. It looked less like a Sunday community event and more like a live-streamed disaster show. Karen spun on me, wild-eyed, face pale, and streaked with rage. This is your fault, she screamed. Ma'am, I said through my teeth, you kicked the horse. But she was too far gone. She collapsed to her knees, wailing, I'll sue the whole park. I'll sue the city. I'll sue you. And the crowd? God help me, the crowd booed her. Booed a bleeding woman. Because everyone knew this was pure karma. Of course, it didn't end there. A week later, letters started hitting mailboxes. Karen was suing everyone. The Flower Park Association, the city, the petting zoo company, and yes, me personally, for failing to protect her from the aggressive beast. Aggressive beast! Jasper! The horse who spent most of the day licking sugar cubes from sticky little kid palms. The neighborhood split immediately. Some backed me, shaking their heads. Others whispered worries about HOA funds and rising fees. And me? I couldn't sleep. That crunch echoed in my dreams. The court hearings dragged on. Karen showed up every time with a dramatic bandage wrapped around her hand. Even months later, when the wound was long healed, she waved that stump at the judge like Exhibit A. You see this? I can't point properly anymore. I can't even snap my fingers. She burst into sobs. The jury looked bored. The judge sighed so often, I thought he'd pass out. And then, the twist. One of the bystander videos surfaced, clear as daylight. Karen glaring at Jasper, muttering under her breath, and then kicking him. The crowd gasped. The judge leaned forward, voice like a blade. "Mrs. Carmichael, you assaulted the horse first, did you not?" Karen sputtered, turned red, flailed her good hand. "That animal looked at me funny. It provoked me by existing." The gallery laughed, and just like that, her case crumbled. But karma wasn't finished, because Karen, as HOA president, had actually signed off on the petting zoo contract. She was technically liable for the very incident she was suing over. The lawsuit backfired spectacularly. She lost. She had to pay restitution, thousands in legal fees, damages, and penalties. The HOA revolted. They stripped her presidency, held emergency elections, and replaced her with sweet Mrs. Alvarez, who announced, "From now on, no lawsuits without a community vote." Within 3 months, Karen sold her house. She screamed at the movers, accused the neighbors of conspiracy, and finally left, waving her bandaged hand at the cul-de-sac like a curse. This town is cursed, and I exhaled, long and heavy. Jasper was safe, the park was safe, and justice, sweet, poetic justice, had galloped faster than any lawsuit. Still, some nights, I hear that crunch, and I wonder if Jasper knew exactly what he was doing.